Welcome to the Success Playbook podcast, a podcast built to break down real success stories, real decisions, and the real work it takes to build something meaningful and become truly successful. This show isn't about shortcuts. It's about learning the strategy, lessons learned, and truly understanding the playbook of these high-performing professionals and business leaders. I'm your host, Corey Hasting, and each episode we sit down with top CEOs, business owners, operators, and entrepreneurs to unpack their stories and their journey to become well-established in their industry. We're going to unlock how they started, what the keys to success, what mistakes they've made, and what lessons they've learned along the way. Today, I'm joined by Beau Blankenship, one of the most respected and consistent producers in luxury real estate in the entire country. Beau is a successful business owner, real estate developer, investor, and owner of Christie's International Real Estate, Emerald Coast, and 30A, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. After opening his first brokerage in 2018 at the age of 27, Beau has since nearly sold $3 billion in personal sales volume since the start of his career. Beau and his team are constantly ranked number one in the 30A market for sales volume, and recently he was selected by Real Trends as the 36th ranked real estate professional in the country. And in 2025, his team sold over $340 million in sales volume along the Emerald Coast, ranging from sales prices $2.5 million to just under $20 million. In this conversation, we're going to unpack Beau's full story, how he got started, the moments that tested him, the mistakes that taught him the most, and the mindset that has allowed him to operate at an elite level year after year. This episode is packed with lessons, whether you're early in your career, scaling a business, or trying to take things to the next level. Let's get it. Beau, welcome to the Success Playbook, and we are so excited to have you today. We want to start out first. For people who may not know your story yet, who is Beau Blankenship and how did we get here today?
Yeah. Well, me and you met, 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
At least, yeah, I think back in 2008, 9.
Yeah. So that brought us here. But I'm originally from Norman, Oklahoma, lived there my whole life, went to college at Iowa State. Then after that stint, transferred to Ohio, where I met you. Mm-hmm. So I was there for a few years and had a stint, after that with the Jaguars, and then we moved here right out of college, got married, and then we've been here ever since.
So why 38? Did you vacation here as a kid, or like what brought you here from Norman, Oklahoma?
Yeah, so grew up vacationing here. Since I was probably 10. So we were coming for 10, 15 years consistently. We loved it. It was our favorite place to go to. We look forward to it every year. And so, after college ended, I could go wherever I wanted. And so I didn't know what the future had. I was planning on playing in the NFL for a long time. That was the goal. Yeah. And, that ended, and we said, hey, we can live wherever we want. So we just picked here, and then that other career ended, and we just stayed.
Yeah. Obviously, I know your football career has shaped you so much. Yeah. Like, in what ways do you think, both in business, but also personally being an athlete, has really helped you?
Yeah. I've met with a lot of successful people that I've kind of picked their brain on this, because there's something different about when you hire an athlete. And there's a different mentality. And, so sports has really shaped my mentality with everything. Yeah. Like, I've learned so much from sports that I don't think you could learn if you went to Harvard or whatever. I don't think you can learn what an athlete learns playing a sport. And, in particularly football. Every sport has it, but in particularly football, the trials you go through, the grind you have to go through, what you have to learn from winning and learning how to lose and learning how to get better, learning how to train, like all of that, it's literally priceless. Yeah. And so that mentality has shaped really everything I do. And so that was instilled in me, early. I started playing football early. I started playing all the sports early. And that mentality and that chip on your shoulder was in me at an early age. Yeah. And so that has carried through to really everything I do.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like that competitive nature that you're either born with, or it's instilled in you early, or you just never have it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. So why real estate? Like, how did you come from Norman, Oklahoma? Mm-hmm. I know you vacationed here, moved here, but why real estate, and how did you get into this industry?
Real estate, I've always just been drawn to successful people for some reason. Just drawn to how they make their money. When I was in college, I was trying to figure out, hey, how do these people make all this money? Like, what are they doing? Are they lawyers? Are they doctors? Are they, whatever? And then, I kept just hearing real estate, thinking about real estate. And I was like, oh, wait, these people are buying these multifamily homes and refining and cashing out, or building these spec homes and all this different avenues of making money. So it was, I was drawn to that of success. And, real estate just seemed like a really good opportunity. It's kind of open as from a competitive standpoint. So my attributes fit well in that, as far as no cap, being able to compete, and you kind of are your own boss. And so I was just always drawn to the success of people and this industry for some reason.
Yeah. And then you were how old when you got licensed here locally?
So after college, I went to Miami to train. And so I started getting my license there, just because I had so much downtime after training that I started getting my license there.
Yeah.
And then, so that was right after college. And then I ended up getting licensed, I guess, in 2016.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I guess a year or two after college.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So when you got here full time, you got into real estate. What are a few things that you think either you did work ethic wise or calling wise or whatever else that really separated you from the beginning from other people who got licensed obviously at the same time?
Yeah.
Because I know that you hit the ground running and sprinting into this industry. So like, what are a couple of things that you did?
I attribute this to sports and my family. Is what was instilled in me is like that work ethic.
Yeah.
Like so sports ended, I pivoted from the drive I had in that to that.
Yeah.
So I took the same drive and the same passion that was there and just switched my focus to this.
Yeah.
And so I had the same mentality and put it into that.
Yeah.
And so most people don't have that, or most people haven't seen that, or most people haven't, know what that is if you're not an athlete or competitive or whatever. So I just switched it over. The same attitude and drive I have for that went to this, and then that, it's hard to kind of match.
100% it is. I mean, I think I did something pretty similar whenever I moved to a city that I didn't know anybody in.
Yeah.
And then you get into real estate and it's like this customer service industry. Like, how are you supposed to sell homes if you don't know anyone?
Yeah.
So whenever you were vacationing here, whenever you fully moved here full time, did you already have a book of clients that you kind of knew and all those things? Or did you really have to ground run in, cold call, open houses? Kind of walk us through that process as a young agent.
Yeah. I mean, I had no clients. I mean, I was just figuring it out. I was just winging it. But I started a property management company. So I built and sold that. So that kind of fed into one into the other, so I could get clients, and we ended up building and selling that a year in, or 2 years in, I think I had it.
Yeah.
And then, but no, we just had to do everything organically. And I was always sitting at the front desk. I did handwritten notes to everyone from Oklahoma. I cold called everyone I could come up with. Did open houses. People come to the sign and go out there and talk to them. It's just, I did everything I could.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, it snowballed a little bit from there.
Yeah. I mean, it's people always look at real estate and they see HGTV or now like owning Manhattan and all this stuff. And I see all the commissions that are on the screen of like, wow, I could go, this looks so easy. But in reality, it's really, really difficult to get started. And especially if like you don't have a foundation in that city or whatever else.
It's very hard.
So what do you think, like knowing obviously what you know now, being so successful, being a huge team lead, being a brokerage owner, like if you looked back at 24, 25-year-old Beau, like what is one lesson either getting into business in general or just getting into the real estate industry that you think you would have done differently, or at least told that young Beau, hey, do this or focus on this or whatever else as you are today?
Yeah. I don't know. Something that I would have done differently. My business really exploded when I got my first assistant, and so I have a control problem, and so I have I'm now I don't have it anymore, but to some degree. But when I was able to let go of some control, like, hey, I have to do everything, I've got to do this and this and this, and I was able to trust somebody to handle some of this stuff to free up more time. So leveraging other people's time to free me up to do more income producing activities. It took me 2-3 years to be okay with that. I'd probably start off with that pretty quickly.
So just hire help for things that you don't really want to do.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit like kind of getting into business and your background and things like that. Did you have kind of like a mentor that you looked up to, or as a family member or something like that, that not necessarily real estate related, but just business related, you could either come to or talk to, and who is that person kind of for you?
So I always saw, I saw my dad work. You know, he'd get up early and stay late and work on the weekends when he had to. I mean, he was a president. He was president. He was always he's a great dad. But I saw his work ethic, so that was instilled in me.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather owned and started a chain of funeral homes. He sold that, and then he started a chain of banks, and he built and sold that. So, and I saw that from a young age, and he was super successful. And so that kind of entrepreneur side of things I was exposed to early on.
Yeah.
And so that really helped shape kind of, I guess, my mindset on things.
Yeah. So from your grandfather or from your father, like what is one key lesson that you think you either took or that you still use today, or a mindset change, or what is one thing that really stuck with you from an early age that you still kind of instill into your work today?
I'd say it's probably not, you know, something that really translates to business, but something that almost more parenting is like they believed in me
Yeah.
early on, like always. Whatever I wanted to, you know, put my hand to do, they thought, oh yeah, he can do it.
Yeah.
So like someone believing in you, and so now with my kids, I believe in them no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think really that's kind of shaped more so everything. Not that like, hey, I saw him do this, this, and this. It was more like, I believe in him. I know he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the most powerful thing I could have gotten, is having a father that believed in me.
Yeah.
So
and allowed you to kind of believe in you, figure it out, but also there to support you through everything, which is huge.
Yep.
So now let's switch to kind of the perfect segment over to kind of get to the 3 S's of life.
Okay.
You know, I'm really, really big on this, where, you know, everybody wants one without the other 2, but it's impossible, right?
Yep.
And that's stress, sacrifice, and success. Everybody always wants success, but it's very difficult to have that without those 2 others.
Yeah.
So for you, like growing up either or a young entrepreneur or getting into the industry or whatever else, what are a couple like big sacrifices that you had to make as an early age to kind of get success, even if it was right from the ground up or whatever else it may be, if it's your weekends by doing open houses or whatever else? Like, give us some ideas of some key sacrifices you made.
Man, that's a good question. That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Because I think we sacrifice all the time, but yeah, I think time would be, when I was first starting off, it would be, you know, time if like, hey, I had to miss a dinner or a party or whatever it was, to go try to provide for our family. I think that was, you know, that's a sacrifice. But then I think, you know, again, I correlate a bunch of stuff to sports. Is when I think of sports, like that can be a lonely road to do the right thing that you know you're supposed to do, that not everybody is doing, and everyone's going this way, you need to go this way. I think that's also a sacrifice that I learned early on, that to not just follow the crowd and do what everyone's doing, to go and do what I know is right. I think that's, you know, that's sacrifices instilled in me too.
Yeah. I mean, I think people want the immediate like success point.
Yep.
And they get so focused on achieving that success, and then they don't actually understand that if you just sacrifice little by little every day, you're closer to the success points. But like for you, like give us some of your key stresses, like not necessarily today, but like whenever you were first getting started, like if you're a brand new agent watching the podcast today, kind of relate to them. Like obviously I'm sure that they're having issues with motivation or issues with call management or whatever else. Like kind of take us back. What were some of your key stresses and how'd you overcome them?
Yeah. I mean, it's a really stressful industry, but I think everything you do is stressful. Like everything, whether you're playing sports, whether you're selling real estate, whether you're owning a car dealership, whether you're developing, like everything is stressful. Like it just is. And then so to deal with that, you know, obviously you have to have a faith in the Lord. Like that's really who carries our burdens. And so relying on him will, like, that's really the only way out of it. Right.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, realizing I'm his and I live for him, that is where my burdens lie. But you're going to have the burdens no matter what, and being able to control them is tough. But I mean, the burdens that everyone's going to have is, from starting with real estate, is how do I get clients? How do I make money? You know, what's so annoying about this business is it's not predictable income.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't control your paycheck.
Yeah.
Man, I hope this client I've been showing for 6 months buys or 2 years buys, You know, like that's was really difficult for me, being a controlling person, is not being able to control that. So that's super stressful. Getting clients, super stressful. Selling stale listings that aren't getting action is super stressful. Like, there's a lot of stuff, but I think the most stressful thing is probably providing for your family and making sure everyone's taken care of. Like, that's a man's stress and a man's burden that they'll have forever.
Yeah. I mean, I tell our team all the time that, you know, everybody like wants the success, right? But are you willing to actually sacrifice the time, energy, effort, cold call, do all these things to achieve it? And honestly, very little people are. And I think that's where to go back to your sports background and just athletes in general. Like if you're a college athlete or an athlete at any high level, like you've been through those mental toughness days, you've been through failure, you've been through all of these things. And so it's awesome to hear you say that.
Well, let me cut you off or add one more thing. That like one of my biggest pet peeves is somebody comes to me and asks me how to be successful, and I tell them what to do. And they don't do it. I'm like, dude, that's just, it's ridiculous. I can't stand it. So,
well, I will say, I mean, I think part of understanding how to be successful is listening and then obtaining that information and then really trying to make the decision of, are you willing to do these things? Like I'm huge into Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and he's always, you know, he used to be big into sacrifice on these things. And he said, you know, my entire perspective of being successful changed because it's not a matter of what I want to achieve. It's what am I willing to sacrifice to get there? And that's the biggest difference, I think, with super high achievers and people who are just always going to be kind of mediocre or whatever they're doing, is they are not willing to truly sacrifice to get to that goal.
100%. They're not willing to give everything they have to reach it. And I would say this younger generation that we're now employing, there's a lot of that.
There is.
They want the instant success. They want to be traveling to wherever on the private jets. And it's like, you're not.
They live that Instagram life, right?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, it's just a mentality that, you know, we didn't have that. It's like, it's very interesting.
It is. So you mentioned a really good point about your faith. And obviously, I mean, I know you really well and I know you're big into your faith. How do you think relying on your faith and being a believer in your faith has really shaped how you look at success or has made you more successful today?
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, the question is, what is success, right? There's success in your eyes or my eyes or whatever is different for everybody, but like truly what is success? And so from a believer, you know, a follower of Christ, I believe success is bringing my whole family to heaven and accepting Christ and everyone I know, that if I can spread the gospel, like that is success, right? And glorifying him in everything I do. That's real success. Whether I have a yacht or jet or whatever it is, it's like, that's not real success. That's not real success. And so leading my family and everyone I'm around to Christ is real success in my eyes. So it's what your definition of success is, but that's what I believe it is.
You actually answered my very next question.
Okay.
It was going to be, how do you define success now compared to whenever you're 24-year-old Beau just getting into business?
So I've always had a relationship with Christ. So that's always been deep down. I know that's what success is, but that doesn't mean I'm not competitive and not trying to make as much money as I can and not be as successful in the physical things as I can. Like that is part of it. Like, but true success is what I just mentioned. So you kind of have to it's all together, but it's kind of, I'm still competitive and want to achieve those things and want to bless my family and want to have these goals I have. But that's not true success.
I mean, I think if you seek fulfillment from items and things, you're never going to.
You'll be empty. You'll be empty.
So I think that's huge. Let's make a little switch here, and I want to talk about some challenges and mistakes that you've made in your career. Like, what is it a mistake early on in your career that you either still, you know, go by the lesson you learned today, or what is one thing that really jumps out to you as either a younger agent or some key pivotal point inside your career?
A mistake.
Could be financial, it could be wrong hire, it could be opening a different office you have, or whatever you think.
I think, you know, I learned early on, and I'm still learning this, about firing people and firing quickly. when I know within 2 weeks, man, that was not a good hire.
Yeah.
And I let them stay for 2 years because I don't want to, like that was something I did early on. It's like I knew they weren't the right fit. I let them stay and did not work out.
Yeah.
Every time. And so firing quickly is a mistake. Letting people stay around that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Because it taints the culture. It does everything. And I've had people stay on that I should have let go for a long time. And so understanding that and realizing that, but it's hard to do. It's hard to tell somebody, hey, you can't work here anymore. So like that's a lesson that I've learned. And I've also made some great investments, also made some bad investments.
Yeah.
And so that's been a part of it, but that's it from the investor side, but that's a different topic.
I think it's just part of growth, right? I mean, obviously, I don't think people are like naturally born into being a boss. I think it's something you learn every day, every week, different personalities, all these things. So like being somebody who has a lot of employees as well, like it is very difficult to then hire this person, believe in this person, and then be like, I made a mistake. I made this person should go, but I'm right there with you. What about what is one of the biggest challenges that you faced in your career, both as a younger agent, but also what's the bigger challenge you face today as your tenure has changed, your prestige has changed, your developments have changed, all of this. Take us back to a new agent. What's one challenge? And then also today, what's one challenge?
Challenge? I mean, challenge from a newer agent is getting listings and getting buyers. Like that's the name of the game. If that is, from a newer agent is getting business.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you have to start, and getting clients to believe in you and trust you. Like that's tough. And so, for a newer agent with that, and today a challenge to me is balancing everything I have going on.
Yeah.
Like that's really probably my biggest challenge. And like I've got an amazing team. So on the real estate side, I mean, everyone's locked in, everyone's dialed in on the listings and the buyers, and like everyone's dialed. Like we're good on that, but like I also have 50 other things going on.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of stuff to deal with. So that's a challenge for me, is just making sure everything is taken care of and running in order.
So you just brought up a great point that I think I want to tap into. So most entrepreneurs, business owners, where they struggle, I think the most is time management.
Yeah.
Because they're a believer. I mean, they're the idea person, they're the problem solver. They wear so many hats inside of an organization. How for you have you began to either delegate your time wisely or begin, because you have so many things going on. I mean, I don't know, how many total developments do you have going on right now?
I don't really, I mean, I got a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know. And we've got several homes that have been built that we're trying to sell. I'm building, close to 80,000 square feet of warehouse space. Right now. I mean, I've just got a lot of different,
So what are some key points? Like, how do you either prioritize what's most important to you? How do you delegate, or how do you truly time manage your time?
I've learned this. That's something I've learned over the past few years, is time management. I mean, you learn it again from sports of time blocking and all that kind of stuff for school and all that. But delegating the stuff to the right people. So if it's a real estate stuff, I've got somebody I trust that I know is going to handle this contract stuff or whatever we're dealing with. If it's delegating brokerage duties, that I have a broker that helps run the company, like I know she's going to take care of that, and I trust her to take care of that, and I trust the assistant to take care of this. If it's, I just have to have the right people in place. And that stuff comes up, we take care of it. If there's more pressing stuff that I have to get done, that jumps to the line. And so just really having people on the same page that I can delegate to is a big part of it. But like I've built systems that have created really, really good time management in my life. So.
Let's talk about a key factor in entrepreneurship and just business in general, leadership. Who do you think is the best leader that you've been around? Is it a coach? Is it a parent? Is it somebody that you can talk to, or whatever else? Like, who for you
is a leader?
Someone that you could turn to?
I think, again, I turn to people for different things, but if it's like a leader in my house and what to do stuff, like I would go to my dad. If it's a leader in, whatever, I mean, I lean on my dad a lot, and, my mom a lot with stuff, but I've been around a lot of good leaders. I've been around a lot of bad leaders.
which sometimes is more valuable than a good leader because it tells you.
I play for some
Yeah.
I play for some bad coaches
Yeah.
that I've learned a lot from. It's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And so, I think just learning from both. But like, I mean, I lean on my dad really for stuff, but most, a bunch of this stuff I've just kind of figured out and kind of gone from there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge believer that I think a really good leader can walk into a room with 10 different people and find out what motivates those 10 different people differently.
Yep.
And I think some of the key points that most entrepreneurs go wrong in leadership is they actually don't listen.
Yeah.
They're the idea person and it's their way. We're doing it this, da 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 da. But you just made a really good point where you empower people to do things, and their process might be different than how you want it done, but it maybe ought to be better.
Yep.
And I think that's the evolution of leadership that is the hardest thing to truly grasp for people.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think a lot of times my idea is best and we should do it that way.
Of course. Yeah.
But listening to other people and empowering them.
Yeah.
And that's something I've had to learn.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to talk about now is kind of like, I think it's super important if you're ever going to be successful, and it's building your routine.
Yeah.
Right. So walk us through kind of either your daily routine, Monday through Friday, because obviously weekends can be different, but I know that you're a super structured person. Like, I think you kind of have to be successful in some way. So kind of walk us through your daily routine and what's important to you throughout the day.
Yeah. So Monday through Fridays, different, like you were saying. So wake up, coffee, cook breakfast for the kids. I read my Bible, typically first thing with coffee, and then me and my wife, have time together. We pray together in the morning. Kids eat lunch, go to school, they homeschool, so they stay there and go upstairs with the teacher. But after that, if I've got, hopefully I have time, and I try to, is I work out, cold plunge, I do cardio, cold plunge, and then I get to the office probably around, I don't know, 8:15 probably.
And you're in appointments and meetings and just throughout the day.
Yeah, and just going through, and I try to handle my hard stuff first, get those out of the way, and then I've really condensed my whole day. I get all my stuff that is urgent that needs to get done by noon. Yeah, and so I'm pretty good after that, and that's part of the time management stuff. And so, and after that, I go home and typically I'll lift weights and then hang out with the kids. And
so you brought up a really good point, because I know it's super important for me, but how important is being physically active, either in the gym or cold plunge or cardio or doing something every day? How important is that on your, just mental well-being, at being that you probably get just like I do?
Yeah. So I'm super stressed,
all the time.
All the time I'm super stressed. I always got crap going on, and that's just an outlet for me. So that working out in the morning and in the afternoon, like, helps me tremendously. Playing pickleball. Yeah. Like, I can really unplug when I'm playing pickleball. I can unplug when I'm playing golf. Yeah. Typically when I'm working out, like, I'm still thinking about, if I'm on the Stairmaster or whatever, I'm thinking about crap, or like pickleball and golf, it really takes that out. But yeah, being active is, crucial.
It's everything
for me.
So what I always tell people is, like, this, like, life is already so stressful as it is. But you start getting into business ownership or launching a new company or whatever else, it becomes so much more. So what I believe, a lot of these, entrepreneurs who are very young do is they never find their equilibrium, like that thing that brings them back, right? For me, and probably for you, it's always been the gym, but it could be, in leading into your Bible, leading into a book, or walking on the beach or whatever else. But that process has to be so important.
Yeah. And, I think when you get into like seasons where you're not reading the Bible and not working out, like that, just, it's a storm of, that you don't really want to deal with.
Yeah. All right. So I want to segue kind of into, if we have a younger agent watching, obviously, this podcast, getting into the industry, or maybe they've been in the industry a year or 2 years and they really haven't had their footing yet. What do you think is one of the key, 1 or 2 mistakes you see younger agents making in the industry today?
Just effort.
Yeah.
Effort. I mean, just effort. I mean, it's, to me, if they stop dreaming and don't put the effort in, like, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing here? You're wasting everybody's time. Yeah. You're wasting our time. You're costing everybody money. Like, I obviously wouldn't say that to them, but like, from that standpoint, it's, if they don't have big dreams and big goals and they're not putting in effort,
right?
What are we doing?
Yeah. I always kind of tell our team, it's the roadmap, right? Yeah. The roadmap at the start is you, right?
Mhm.
And the goal, right, or the treasure is you accomplishing 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, whatever.
Yep.
And I think in our industry, it's so fixated on skipping the actual roadmap or the path of getting there.
Mhm.
All they want to do is just like, go straight to the treasure, collect it, whatever it may be. If you were a young agent today,
Mhm.
give me one or two things, systems wise, process wise, whatever, that you 100% are non-negotiables. You have to do this.
Treat your day like it's a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
So like a bunch of agents come in like, oh, I'm gonna be a real estate agent because I got freedom, and then they're not really working. And
Yeah.
I'll say this even when I have agents or whatever talk to me. So what would you do if you worked for a law firm or a doctor's office or at the hospital? Would you just pop in and out like this? And so I mean, to me, that's treat it like a 9 to 5 job. You get there every morning. I do this, this, and this, and then I transition to this, and then the second half of the day is this. And it's like, have a structured day all day. And if you don't do that and you don't come to the office, you're gonna have a hard time being successful.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna have a hard time
In anything, not just real estate, but in selling insurance or selling
whatever
cars or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I always tell our team, like, there's no such thing as secret agents, right? There's no James Bonds here.
Yep.
Like, you have to be in the office. You have to be seen on social
Yep.
media. You have to do all those things. So let's talk a little bit more about like processes in cold calling and lead generation. Like, what are a couple of big things that for you really kicked it off when it comes to either this lead generation tactic or this cold call, or what was kind of your niche that you found out very quickly, you think?
So it's changed drastically over the past, I guess I've been doing this almost 10 years, but like it's changed drastically over time.
Yeah.
But from like a systematic standpoint, again, it's just like scheduling your day, reaching out to as many people as you can. But like my niche came from the developer side.
Yeah.
Because I was just doing math in my head. I was like, oh wait, this guy made $4 million on this deal.
Wow.
Or whatever, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so then I didn't have the money at the time, and so then I would go pitch the land to an investor, partner up, get the builder, and then sell it, and then I would have the $6 million listing.
Yeah.
And I did that over and over, and then I started doing it myself, and then that's really, if I'm a new agent and this $6 million seller isn't going to give me the listing because I'm a new agent with a boutique brokerage or whatever it was, it's like, I know I should get that listing because I'm going to work harder than anybody. I'm going to be able to sell it. It's like, okay, you're not going to give it to me? Forget it. I'm going to go build my own.
Yeah.
I'll get that listing. We sold it really quickly. All right, the next person saw we sell it. They're going to call me just to list their home. I'm going to go develop these 2 more myself.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you've got, 100 million in inventory from that, and that just kind of snowballed.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like what I always tend to, like, if you're 21, 22, 23 years old and you want to be successful, you almost kind of have to have this level of delusion that like, I can accomplish this. No, I am the best person. I am good at this, right? And I think what I see a lot, and when I talk to young agents around the country or whatever else, is that they don't necessarily have that, right? Now, do you think that's more your sports background and just kind of always having to be your own hype man or whatever else? Because I think that's huge.
I've had to be my own hype man for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't need the, yes, approval and words kind of works from others, like super important, but like I've had to hype I'm the best. I know I'm the best. I know I'm the best running back in the country. Or I know I'm this is this. It's like, I don't care what you say. I know this. And so that comes from belief from my dad.
Yeah.
That he always believed in me.
Yeah.
And my mom. And so that belief carried into everything else. It's like, hey, I know I'm the best agent in the country or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I know I am. I'm just going to go freaking do it.
Yeah. It's that mindset. I think that's so important because, I think in any sales industry, but especially one that's competitive as real estate, where, I tell our team all the time that like real estate's the craziest industry in my opinion, because you can work so hard, but your income is solely based on someone else saying yes. And it's also that person has the ability to say yes, right? And so it can be very rushing and all this stuff, but I think your mindset is just so important in getting into facing those obstacles every single day.
And if you're relying on somebody saying yes or a buyer just saying yes for you to live and to make money, it's really tough.
Really tough.
You got to get listings, but also real estate needs to be a tool for you to make money to then build generational wealth.
Yeah.
It's, I've seen too many agents live closing to closing. It's like, you can structure it to make a substantial amount of money to then build generational wealth in other things that are, not just active income, which is what selling is.
Yeah. So that's a great segue. I want to get into your developer side.
Okay.
That's a huge part of the podcast, a part of huge who you are today.
Yeah.
We've been down here for a couple of days now, and we went through a lot of your specs, and we went through some developer stuff you have coming on. So kind of walk us through how you got started in development. I know you just kind of talked about it just briefly, but talk more about that. And then also kind of like how that relationship has really evolved into what you do day to day today.
Yeah. From the development side, again, it started from trying to get listings that I know listings I should have that people didn't give me, that then I said, okay, great. I'll create these own developments myself or with partners or whatever.
And that's like finding land,
to get the builder, have relationships with the builder, have relationships with clients that can, put up the money, and then building wealth yourself and then doing it yourself. But, development is a huge part of what I do. Yeah. It's a big part of what I do. It's a big part of, this industry, but it's a big part of, my income, my net worth, and all that. It's a big part of it.
Yeah. So I know you don't want to get too many numbers away, but I do want to tell 2 or 3 success stories.
Okay.
So give us 2 or 3 success stories over the last 24 months that you either did a development project with a developer. Give us the math behind, we bought the land for X, we built X, and we made X, and the timelines for that. That way we can kind of tell the listeners that if they're not that familiar with development, how it goes, what you're really talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the most recent one that comes to mind was 4.2, I think, for the dirt, probably
4.2 million.
Yeah, for the dirt.
Wow.
And then probably 6 million for the build. I'm trying to think.
Okay, so about 10 million total.
Maybe less than that. It was sold for 18.
Wow.
So they made they made a lot of money. So like deals like that, we did
that timeline, like from you bought the land to
a little over that was a little over 2 years.
So a nice casual 9 million a year on average. That's pretty good.
So, it was, you've got stories like that. And that was for a client. That wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of success stories.
Yeah.
And so, but it's always knowing what you think a good deal is, what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
If you're swinging for the fences on a spec, if you're building warehouse space, if you're doing long-term leases, and just, buying right.
Yeah.
And finding the right deals.
It's important.
But you're putting your head on the line, like investing. I mean, I was handling some $10 million someone's money.
Yeah.
That I think we get a good return on it. And so like, it's also stressful. That piece is too.
I'm sure it is. So you have a great point that I want to talk about, that a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, those people out there, is risk.
Yes.
And I think risk management is also a pillar of a good leader.
Yeah.
So give us situations like that where, how did you, obviously I know what the risk is, but how did you manage your risk that led to stress and all of that? Is it just because you understood numbers, process, management, you're building a good product, so you believed in it? Or kind of walk us through
on that specific project, or
just in general? I know that you have several of those projects like that, but
yeah, something like if I'm building 10 smaller homes right now, like the risk on those, pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't keep me up at night.
Yeah.
Because I know they'll be able to rent, cash flow. We're not in for a ton, but they're 10 smaller homes that I'm not worried about. We've got 4 or 5 bigger spec homes from 6 to 8 million right now.
Yeah.
That are 3 to 8 million that, those need to be selling. Like those are a little bit of stress.
That's a lot of stress. That's a lot of money out there.
So just managing those and managing my income and knowing what my net worth is, knowing what my assets are, knowing what's in the bank account, and being able to dictate, okay, this is a risk I know we can take. That's not going to affect us. I know this, just really having, I've got a full-time bookkeeper that sends me my net worth, and balance sheet and P&L every week. So I know exactly kind of what I've got going on.
Yeah.
And so just being able to know where I can put my money, what's a good risk, what I think the return is really being able to to deal with that. I don't want to overextend my family.
Yeah.
Because I got 3 kids and don't want to put them in a bad spot.
So you just brought up and you just described what I think is one of the most important pieces of business, and it's financial literacy. And because you're not going to learn that in a class, right? I mean, I don't care if you have an MBA.
No.
You really are not going to learn the in and outs of a P&L, balance sheet, all these things. So is that something that you really like taught yourself, or do you have like a great CPA that you involve with, or how did you become so financial literate? Because that's a huge mistake a lot of people make.
Yeah, I mean, I think just doing it, kind of learned it on my own. I remember this is probably, I don't know, 6 years ago or something like that. I had to pay a pretty large tax bill, and then after that, I was like, I don't like this. And so then I had to really learn the P&L side of stuff and expensing stuff and equipment stuff. And so really learning that, and that was just a process of kind of just doing it on my own. It's taken time, but we've got a good kind of handle on everything.
Yeah, understanding what tax benefits are out there for business owners and taking advantage of what the U.S. government allows us to do. It feels good every once in a while to win, every once in a while for sure. You made a good point though, and I want to segue to this. We talked about financially and all these other things. What's the biggest mistake you think you've made financially? It could be buying a bad investment.
I did a bad investment probably 3 years ago. That never panned out. And so that was it was a mistake. I should have dug deeper on it, and instead of just trusting someone that brought it to me, it's that one stings. I'm over it and that, but I learned a good lesson there.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's important for our listeners and viewers to know, like, you're never going to swing 1,000, right? 100 for 100, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you always.
Yeah, and sorry, just to be transparent, it wasn't a real estate deal. It was a space that someone brought to me that was an idea that I thought was going to be killer, and it just, the people that are running it just didn't pan out.
So, because that is going to be one thing, like the wealthier you get, the more pitches you get, right? Hey, I want to invest this. I have this idea, right? So I think it's a great segue as well. Like, how do you manage that? Because I know you get pitched ideas all the time. Businesses, investments, say, hey, I got this, I got that. What are your kind of core principles of how you decide what's good or versus not?
Just taking really good time to do due diligence on them, to pray about them, talk to my wife about them, but really, if the pitch comes from somebody I extremely trust, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty much like, let's like I've got a buddy of mine that's pitched me several deals I'm in. It's in random space that I just trust him, and I believe they're going to be, super successful. And, but I trust him. I would trust him with my life. And so he pitches me stuff that I'm all in on.
And that's trust that's built over years.
Because
I think that's, once you become successful, right? You have this kind of target on your back of like, hey, this guy's got money, this guy's got wealth, this guy's got whatever. And you become a target a little bit, right? And so you have to be very guarded of your time, your energy, your money, your effort, all of that. Was that kind of hard for you as you became more and more successful? Not so much cutting people off, but being more guarded to kind of who you are and what you want to do, obviously with your time, but also your money.
It is hard. I mean, I try to be friendly for everyone, but like, I think, I can probably come off as cold sometimes because I get that all the time. Like, I get people needing stuff and stuff all the time. That's, it kind of wears on me. I feel like somebody, and I tell this to my wife, it's like, I said, sometimes I feel like I go and it's like somebody takes a piece from me every second I'm somewhere else. Like somebody needs this, grabs this, or wants this from me, and then I come home and it's like, I'm toast. And so that's just managing that. It's tough. Like, that's a really tough thing.
And I think that's a part of success nobody sees, because everybody sees, the lifestyle or this and that, but like, managing success is very difficult. And I actually believe managing success can be very lonely. And people don't ever talk about that side of it. So let's be a little bit real quick, and let's talk about how you have managed kind of that side of success, because you've obviously had great success and you have an amazing life and lifestyle and all these other things, but like, do you suffer a little bit from like kind of being on an island every once in a while? Or like you just said, people taking a piece of you? Like, how do you manage that?
Obviously my wife's amazing, my family's amazing, and so I'm super close with them. But I built I keep my circle pretty tight. I've probably got 10 to 15 dudes that are like, these are my guys.
Yeah.
Like, these are my boys, and talk to them about everything. They know everything. Some are from college, some are from here. Me and you talk every day. So I got a tight knit group. Not saying we're not, I love meeting new people and all that kind of stuff, but I've got a pretty tight knit group that have had success that I can talk to and that understand kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, those are my boys. And, so that's super helpful, having my family and having those guys.
Yeah.
And our church community is great, and my pastor's great. And,
Yeah.
So I've built and that's why we love it here. We built a really good community.
Yeah.
That's been great.
Yeah. And I feel like, in most organizations, the guy at the top only hears the bad things. Only people come after him for negative things and stuff like that. And so you have to have, if you're listening or watching, you have to have people around you who will boost you up, who will say, you know what, Beau, we can get through this together. Or, oh, I got your back for this or whatever, because everybody sees, what you accomplish and they think, oh, he's got no problems.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you got more problems than everybody ever sees. People just don't see it, right?
Yeah. That's a really good point is, when you're kind of running companies, all I hear is bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, and some days I'm like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
I'm going to work out at noon or whatever,
Yeah.
And so that's a really tough part, dude.
Yeah. And you just said, once again, you went back to your equilibrium.
Yeah.
And so if you are listening or if you're watching this and you are struggling with having that emotion, then you have to find out what brings you back down, because this life will just eat you up and spit you out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some advice for people who are watching. If they are struggling in any field, if it's sales or real estate, whatever else, give us one or two things that you think to focus on so they can really ramp up in 2026. If it's, let's say that's a young agent in the real estate industry right now and they can't really get started, what do you think they should really focus on this first quarter?
Getting your systems in place, knowing what you're good at. Like, I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm bad at.
Yeah.
So knowing my weaknesses and being able to delegate the weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right. And knowing what I'm really good at that I should be doing, and double down what I'm good at and get help with what I'm bad at.
Yeah.
And scheduling out their day and getting a really good system, that generates business.
Yeah.
So, and going back to organic stuff, like cold calling, handwritten notes, like meeting people, like they have to do all that stuff. And for every business.
Yeah. And I think, like, especially with the rise of technology today, I think people have been so enamored with like social media and TikTok and all these things. It's like, yes, that's all an ancillary to your business, no matter what sales you're in.
Yeah.
But people have to know how much you care about them first. Like, there's this saying that people buy people before they buy product in the day of the week. Yeah. And they want those personal touches. So if you're definitely struggling to ramp up, focus on those personal touches as we go forward.
Yep. 100%.
And so, like, what is, and maybe that is this question, but what is kind of one piece of advice for let's say an agent who's at 5 million right now and really kind of wanting to take that next step in their career, getting from 5 million to 10 million. What is one thing that you think you put in your business plan early on that really jump started you to take that next step?
Again, I'm working on the developer stuff, so that really helped. And then, I've tracked my numbers ever since I started, and every month what the sales are, and I've tracked everything, so I know kind of exactly when things are getting hot, when they're not, and have a really good pulse on the market. But when I was looking at my numbers, the biggest thing is I doubled my production like 3 years in a row. Yeah, like I went from X to X to X, and that was when I started delegating, adding an assistant and adding somebody to help with showings and stuff like that. So really delegating, freeing up my time, I doubled production. Yeah. And so that has been something I would like. If I'm at 5 million, I want to go to 10. What's eating up my time now that I can pay somebody to do that I can then go be more productive? Yeah. And so figuring out what that is in their business.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. And a lot of times it's, hell, do I need a transaction coordinator? Do I need an assistant? Do I need a showing agent, right? Do I need someone who's going to call these leads and follow up and set appointments for me?
If you're a developer or somebody to handle your LLCs, to handle your paperwork, to handle your bookkeeping or your expenses or whatever it is, like it's in every business.
Yeah. And I think for me, like for you to take the next step in your success, you have to be 2 places at once.
Yeah.
And like right now, I bet you are 7 places at one time,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you can maximize the success. If you think that you're an entrepreneur and you own a small business and you're the marketing manager, the owner, the sales team, the cleaning lady, like you're all these hats, you're never really going to be successful.
Yeah.
Like if you're at the top, you should be focused on 1 or 2 or 3 things, and then everybody else should be doing everything else for you. And I think that's a huge lesson to learn. But let's talk about, so obviously you guys just did $350 million in 2025 as a team. How many team members do you have? And also let's talk about, what is your greatest year ever as a team, and when was that?
Yeah. I've got, I think, around 10 people on our team right now.
Yeah. Wow.
We had a good year. I mean, it was a very good year. It wasn't our best year.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good year. It was a tough market.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we had a successful year with, 300 and whatever million. Our best year ever, and there's a year we did around 500 million as a team, which is strong.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
It's strong.
Give me an idea.
I don't remember the exact number, but it was big. And I don't think anyone, I mean, it's a big number. It was huge. So, that was a really, really good year.
Yeah.
For the brokerage and for the team.
Yeah. That's insane. And that's the same year that your brokerage did over $1 billion in sales.
Yeah. There was 2 years in a row we did over $1 billion. And that one of those years, we did, it was like 500 around there. And, and that was part of it.
And you guys had about 70 agents as an organization.
Something like that. Yeah.
Those numbers are insane.
Yeah.
If you're watching and you're in real estate, you would understand how crazy those are. Let's talk about a little bit for like legacy. I was actually asked this question the other day, and it was a great one. When people look back on your career, what would you like them to say in a room that you're not in?
That I was a God-fearing man, right? That's number one. That man loved the Lord and he did what was right.
Yeah.
I think would be what I want.
Yeah. I figured you would answer that.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes to the same point, and I think I know your answer to this one, but if everything disappeared tomorrow, what would still matter to you and why?
If everything disappeared tomorrow?
If you lost all the success, if you lost all the business, if you lost, everything, what is, what for you still would matter?
Yeah. I mean, all of this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I think you have to understand that, like, all these homes and everything we have, like, doesn't really matter.
Right.
So, I don't think it really changed anything.
Yeah.
The only thing that really matters is obviously my faith and my family.
Yeah.
So, like, if everything was stripped away, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that, like, none of this stuff dictates who I am or how I feel, or like, if that's what I'm living for, that's a wasted life.
Yeah.
So,
and being someone who's known you for a really long time, like, that's like such a admiration that I have for you. Like that you feel that way, and I know that you truly do, and you have that type of faith and everything that you've accomplished. Like, that's something that, as your friend, I've always tried to like do myself, because it's very admirable, man.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And I think the biggest thing too is, it kind of goes back into success, right? You said it perfectly. How do you define it? Yeah. Right. And I think so many people, especially young, and if you're watching this and you just started your company or whatever else, you get so caught up, right? And I want to go do 100 million. I want to go sell this. I want to sell 12 units a year, whatever else, right? But if you're somebody who is trying to be fulfilled because of your success, it'll never truly fill you.
No, it's empty.
And the thing is like, and I struggle with that, right? Because I'm very goal-oriented. I want to focus on this, want to focus on that. Yeah. But, I think you have to think as success of, like, number one, I think if you are going to watch this podcast, I want you to ask yourself your question. How do you define success? Right. And then also, like, what does it look like personally, but also professionally? Yeah. Because I think, don't get me wrong, business is personal, but you have to have successes in life and successes in business.
Yeah. And having goals and achieving goals, like, that's not wrong. Like, I'm very, very goal oriented.
Of course.
Like, unbelievably competitive.
Yeah.
Like, it's a problem. And so, but, like, I also realize none of it matters. And so when I die and I go to heaven, is God going to say, man, I wish you would have sold 10 more houses? Is that going to, I wish you would have made X more money? No.
Yeah.
It's like, man, is my family here? Are we all here? Like,
Yeah.
that's what matters. Did I do, and I think that's why I work so hard, is I feel like the Lord has blessed me and given me abilities. And if I'm not using those talents,
Yeah.
bro, did I do everything I could with what God gave me? And that keeps me up at night. And that's like, or am I wasting away what He's given me? I want to do absolutely everything I possibly can with what He's given me, physically, financially, spiritually. I want to steward and do the most with what He's given me at the end of the day. I don't want to waste anything.
It's so funny to hear you say that because like I can see in you
Mm-hmm.
that that's a true stressor for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you that like most people who are like not as successful have stressors of other things, whatever else. It's just fascinating for me to hear someone who's as successful for you as you are, that is your stress. And it actually puts a lot of things in perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's not stress, it's a pressure, and it's self-pressure. I don't stress about it, but it's like a pressure. It's like, am I doing everything that I can do with what I've been given?
Yeah.
And whether that goes investing, if that's working, and running the company, am I doing the most I can do with what I've been given?
Yeah.
So
you actually brought up a really good point. You mentioned a key word for me, and that's competitiveness. So I mean, you and I played football in college together. I know how competitive you are. For you, is being that level of competitive a blessing or is it a curse? Because I think you can be both. I think, because I'm very ultra competitive and you get so focused on achieving things and all this stuff. And that's what is a blessing because that's what makes you who you are and outwork everyone and work ethic and all the right things.
Yep.
But also it can be a curse. Because sometimes you overlook the process of getting there. Even whenever you achieve a goal, you're like, nope, okay, I got it, next thing.
Yep.
And you don't really allow yourself. So for you, like, how do you see it? Like that level of competition or competitiveness, do you see it as a blessing or a curse?
I mean, I see it as a blessing, and it's a big part of, I think, why I'm successful, is that I'm super competitive. But I can't let the competition get in the way of stuff that really matters, right?
Yeah.
And so, yes, I'm striving and I'll do anything to achieve a goal or whatever it is, but like I can't let it get in the way. But I think it's a really big part of why I'm successful, and I see it in my kids now, in me, and so now I'm trying to steward that in them. And so I think it's a really good thing that can serve my kids well and it serves me well. It just has to be understood.
Yeah. So so obviously you're a father of 3. And how do you, think that's being where you are and your goals you want to achieve and every single day working and all those things, how do you think that has either changed being a father, or do you think it has just changed your perspective on things because obviously whenever you got in this industry, you were young, you had just gotten married, there was no kids, you could spend so much time on it. But now, like, how do you think your perspective of success or whatever it may be has changed with being a father of 3?
Building the systems that I can spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
Like that's, like I want to spend as much time as I can with my family.
So that's like one of your goals now. So now when you're...
Well, it's a reality.
Yeah.
Like it's a goal, but it's a reality. But like I've got systems in place that now I can I'm at every practice typically. I'm with them all the time. And so I spend a lot of time with my kids. And so, but it took me a long time to get here where I'm able to do that and have the systems in place where I'm able to achieve that.
It's so interesting because like when we do a lot of goal planning and we do a lot of things like as a brokerage and all these things, like, we always ask people like, what is your why? Like, why are you working as hard as you are? Why are you doing the things that you want to do?
Yeah.
And then we start putting goals in place, but also like time management.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating to see and hear that time with your kids and being a great father and all those things. I think that's something that people never truly see whenever like people see success, right? People just see like the numbers and the properties and all these other things, but it's just so amazing, like to being as your friend, like to see like that is such a priority for you.
It definitely is.
And it sounds like it was instilled from your parents.
Yeah.
It's been
my dad, my dad worked very hard and he worked long days. But after I had my kids, I was like, man, I built systems in place and we've been blessed that like I'm able to do that. I'm able to go home and be with them and go on trips with them, and it's been It's been super cool.
Yeah. So in closing here, I got a couple quick hitters for
Yeah.
you. Give me one goal, business goal you want to accomplish in 2026.
One business goal?
Could be sales, could be opening a new office, could be growing your team, could be whatever you think, but give me one goal that you really think.
I mean, we've got some goals we want to hit with the brokerage.
Yeah.
That financial goals, agent goals, and sales volume goals that we want to hit. That from the company standpoint, and I've got goals from a development standpoint of getting stuff done and completed.
Yeah.
Not to talk too much about numbers and stuff, but like we've got some goals we want to hit financially, and I've got a ton of goals.
Yeah.
So
I'm a huge believer in having short-term, medium, and long-term
Yep.
goals, because I feel like if you only have long-term goals, you will forget the actual process of getting there. So
Yep.
your short-term should lead to medium, to long-term.
Yeah.
Is that similar how you kind of go?
Yeah,
Your mentality?
no, it is like I think so, but like I always have my long-term goal of knowing what the goal is, and so that automatically triggers my short-term goals
Yeah.
to achieve those, because that's always in the back of my head. It's like, hey, I want to sell 400 million this year or 500 million, whatever it is. It's like I have daily goals too, but it's like if I know that's the end goal, I'm going to do what's right in the short term to reach that goal.
Yeah.
So it's like it's similar, but
Yeah.
that long-term goal is always kind of the overarching thing.
Yeah. And it's important because I think they can compound, right?
Yeah.
Compound interest is what they always say.
Yep.
The seventh wonder of the world.
Yep.
Seems like thing whenever you're compounding goals together.
Yep.
And so let me ask you this really quick, because I think mentality of goals is something that sometimes successful people struggle with. So, what's interesting is I think obviously being successful as you are, I want to talk a little bit about like achieving goals, right? Because I know like, the short-term, medium, long-term goals, all these other things, but do you feel fulfillment from goals, or is it more, yep, I achieved it, boom, done, on to the next thing? Or kind of walk us through that process.
I've never really felt fulfilled by goals, which is, it's just interesting. Because I've always been a goal-driven guy.
Yeah.
Whether it was, get my first Division I scholarship, like that didn't fulfill me, or whether it was rush for 1,000 yards, or whether it was sell this many stuff, or make my first whatever in the bank account, like never fulfilled. I've always just like, all right, got it next.
Yeah.
Got it next.
Yeah.
Every time I've reached a goal and then I've kind of taken my foot off the gas, it's always come back to bite me.
Yeah.
And so, but I know that about myself now. So if I feel that coming, I change something up.
Yeah.
To keep it going, whether that's mergers or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
it's never really fulfilled me. I'm typically boom next.
Yeah.
So.
And do you think that's just kind of like your mentality on life, like from your perspective of sports and all that stuff? Because that's a very tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Like very few people that I've ever met can truly like achieve something and move on right away.
Yeah.
Because usually they're so caught up in like, oh my God, I accomplished this much. And then they let their foot off the gas, and then they blink and 5 months later.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I've kind of always had that mentality. Like I've never, like if I went and sold out $1 billion, I'd probably think about it for a few hours.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. I always equate it to like, whenever a college football coach wins a playoff game, right? And they always give him the trophy, right? And the coach, they say, oh, well, how are you going to celebrate with your team? He's like, we're going to have about 4 or 5 hours, and then we're on to the next one.
I mean, it's really the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. I've just always moved on quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just kind of goes into the competitiveness that you've been taught through sports, because, we've always said like, if you celebrate one good play, then you're going to make 3 bad ones.
3 votes. Yeah.
And you have to be able to, and I think that's what's such a valuable lesson as an athlete, especially football, is the plays are only 20 seconds long.
Yep.
So you can have, yes, you did a great job, or no, you did a terrible job, but you have to move on quickly.
Yep. Got to move on.
So it's awesome that you bring that into sport.
But I mean, I learned from when I didn't that it bit me. So it's a hard lesson, but that's just, now it's just instilled in me. And it's like, all right, next.
Yeah. All right. So Beau, I obviously really appreciate your time being here today. I want to close with this, and I think it's very, very important that our viewers do this or understand this, is what is one thing that you want our viewers or our listeners to remember from this conversation?
How you value success and what success truly is.
Yeah.
I think understanding what that is, will dictate what they do and how how they live their life and knowing what truly matters.
Yeah. And it's also hard to define success if you don't know what success means to you, right?
Yep.
So I think that's great. So thank you guys so much for being here on the Success Playbook podcast. Like I said before, Beau, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
If you guys have enjoyed this, or if you guys have learned one piece of information of how you can be more successful in 2026, comment below what that is, and we'll see you next time.